Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zones and the Classic Who Zone. And I don't think the mic is working. Yes, it is. There's the avatar moving. Okay. Yeah, sorry I'm late. Had technical difficulties. Also, I couldn't find this feckin' episode. A bleeding disaster. The site that I used, for some weird reason, episodes are in the wrong places and have the wrong titles and stuff like that. So it literally took me ages. I had to go to poor Queen Charlotte to find, just to make sure. It says, I asked her what the next episode was, and I says, but Susan's in it. She goes, no, it's Vicky. And then I knew I had the wrong episode. I was like, why have they messed it up? But I have found the 4 parts. Unfortunately, for me, it's in colour. So someone's colorized the episodes. So I'll have to watch them colorized until that site sorts itself out. So yeah, I'm actually a bit annoyed about that because you know me. I like the William Hartnell. It's in black and white, and it should remain in black and white. I do like when fans try to colorize these stories. It does be good to see what it would have looked like, but to actually watch the obviously we're doing the first 2 parts this week and then the second 2 parts next week. But yeah, not very pleased about that. But anyway. We'll move on. I've sent the emails out to everybody, and just to make sure that everybody is on board. John, I did send you. I know you were here. I sent you an email, but I also sent you the link in your Twitter account if you want to try that. It'll be easier. And we've got our other guest just had to join us. I have sent the email to Cultivated Media. To let them know, and I've also let them know what story we're doing. So we'll see if they turn up. Might be a bit late, Ballstreck, busy man. So yeah. So without further ado, we bring on, I guess. Oh yeah, last night I did a video. So go and check that out. Very interesting. We'll be doing a few more videos like it. If you have already put in, I've seen a couple of people have put in their lists. So for anybody that missed it last night, this is the deal. I did a video where I showed you basically a 1-show list of BBC's most iconic shows or something, 20 of the top iconic shows. And Doctor Who came second to Only Fools and Horses, right? So I said out of that list that's there, or if there are any other TV shows that BBC have done, compile your top 5 list of your favorite top 5 BBC shows. Also, as I said, we had Shortlist. Never heard of them before, believe it or not. But Shortlist do a series of polls, and they wanted people to vote on their favorite Doctor. Now we have actually read out the results of that, and Jodie Whittaker's Doctor obviously finished last place. I think the vote is still open, but it shows you the upvotes that each Doctor got. It also shows you the downvotes, so there's no cheating. You can actually see who's voted for who. And what I've asked people to do is to go in. Those articles are in the link description. So the Doctor list, what I want you to do is I want you to go in and have a look at their Doctor list, and then compile your own Doctor list and tell me where the Doctors, in what place do the Doctors actually sit in your opinion. And as I said, next Friday we will be on again talking Doctor Who. As I said, I'm going to be moving contact to during the week instead. The TARDIS Zone talks is coming back because there's going to be a lot going on and we need to stay on it. There's obviously as well, we're going to have stuff like this and we're going to have more interaction with you guys. So get into that video comment section for me, compile both lists. And then, as I said, if you want me to read the list out on Friday, let me know in the same comment. Say that you've given me permission to read your name out and read your lists out. A couple of people have already done it. If the rest of you could, I really appreciate it. Even you guys that are on the panel before I bring you on, if you want to take part, please do go in, compile your list, and I'll read them out on Friday. Trying to get a bit more interaction with you guys. You know me, every year I try to do something slightly a little bit different, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of this where I'm going to get you guys involved in the comment section and then read it out, bit more interaction and all of that, get you more of our opinions and here's our thoughts. And we will be doing, obviously when RTD stuff starts coming, we will be running polls and we will be asking you guys the questions that need to be asked, and hopefully you guys will get involved and give the answers and we'll be able to read them out. And as I said, the channels like this, in my opinion, are important. We have to make sure that fans like us are heard this time round. So get your views and opinions in. Now, Real Super Doctor was here. Now, I know that he's only gotten, either his internet was broke and he was getting new internet or something, but he just popped out before we started. So hopefully he comes back because he hasn't come back yet. Maybe he's rebooting, but let's bring on our guests because we got 2 episodes to do, and yeah, well, we have plenty of time. Once they're over before 10, we're good, and they will be. So let's bring on our first guest. We got 2 royal members of the royal family here. I'll tell you, I'm very inclusive. I am. Imagine me having royalty on my channel, an Irish channel. Yeah, and I get a lot of stick. I do, don't I? Well, it's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Oh, but we're your royalty, aren't we, Noel?
That's it. Welcome, Your Royal Highness. How are you?
Good. When my laptop wants to work, luckily at least my tablet is. It's just my laptop that doesn't like me right now.
Yeah. I've noticed when I put the camera on, when I have the mic in, everything goes to shit. So I've just decided, just for this week, no camera. I'm just gonna fucking have the mic. It's
Yeah,
better
just
that
roll
way.
with avatars.
I'll only put the camera on when the J-bots need to see how angry I am when when I'm giving out. So I'm only messing. All joking aside, but yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But eventually, Cheryl said we look great on my computer. But for now, I told her, look, it does the job. Don't need that and fancy or and it works all right. I'll figure it out. But you know what Cheryl's like. And everybody's been saying it to me as well, even Ballstrick. Yeah, you need a new computer. Yeah, I do, but like I don't like change. That's the thing. I still have me phone, right. I have this mobile phone, right. It's shattered. The full screen, the
But you
screen is
kept
shattered, right. But right, and I have another phone, right. Cheryl gave me a Samsung phone, lovely phone, Galaxy phone, right, and I used the other phone. I only use the Galaxy phone to watch the chat in when we do a stream, just to make sure that there's nothing going on.
Yeah, no funny business.
So it's a waste of phone. So she's kind of mad, but yeah, I'm very attached to certain things, and this Chromebook, I'm very attached to it. So that's what I'm trying to say. I find and I find it hard to let things go. But at the same time, I think it's the way I was brought up as well.
Oh yeah, it was
The way
like
kids nowadays,
yeah.
and I'm not saying you, but kids nowadays, if they get a broken laptop, their parents will go out, if they have the money, will go out and replace, and there's nothing to them. They don't mind. But I get very attached to things, and I think it's because when we were growing up, we appreciated that and we were given. So I look after it a lot more. You know what I mean? So yeah, while it's on its last legs, I will use it until it's completely gone. And that's the way I do it. I'm very loyal, even to me electronics. Right? Anyway, let's bring on the next guest because they probably wonder what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, it's the one and another. We've got another member of the royal family here, but he's a bit more bitchy though. I think he lives.
I
But
can't
it's the
wait
one,
for
and,
it, Lee
but
now.
it's the Queen bitch himself. It's the one and only Problem Being. Oh, he's snoring. Oh,
Did you not see
that's
the
his
chat?
way. That's his way of telling me that my story was boring, and that could we just move on, please?
Greetings,
How rude.
peasant.
Greetings.
Peasant.
I'm not. I ain't no peasant. Peasant.
Peasant.
Hello,
Hello, pleb. Hello, people.
Hello, love.
Hello, my dear. Hello, ma'am.
Anyway, I don't know.
Do I get a boring story as well or not?
No, no story for you. You don't deserve no story anyway.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
I wish I never mentioned my laptop now.
See? I'm not the
I
only
could
one.
tell you about me Super Nintendo. I'm only messing. Anyway, let's bring on our next guest. It's the one and only real Super Doctor. Back to real Super Doctor again. That's good because the other one was a bit of a mouthful.
How's you doing?
Good, you?
Not bad. I mean, it took about 2 weeks to get the internet connected again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you sent me the message. Your internet was all over the place. I didn't know whether you were getting new internet or whether you were getting the one that you had fixed the word, because that's what it is. See here, we've got look. I've got the fastest broadband speed, right? That's the one me and Cheryl got. But unfortunately, right, because the wiring is so bad in this apartment complex, my mobile phone, believe it or not, right, when I put on the hotspot, has more internet power than the internet that we're paying over fucking €100 for. That's supposed to be the fastest broadband speed that we have. Like it's what's it called? I don't, they have all fancy names for it. It's that fiber optic fucking.
Yeah,
I'm with
it's
fiber
fiber thingy
optic
nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be very good, right? Now, don't get me wrong, for streams like this, it's fine and stuff like that. But if I'm gaming and people will notice if I play Black Ops 3, I'll get to around 20 something and then the internet connection will go because it's very weak. So yeah, my mobile phone has more bloody feckin' power. And Cheryl's one especially has more power than feckin', because I think she's 5G or something, or 4G. I don't know. Jesus Christ, all these G's, forget about the G's. But anyway, yeah. So that's that, man. It's fucking mad. It is. And then now Sky have come to Cheryl and said, "Oh, by the way, we want to increase now your internet charge." I'm kind of like, well, you could fix the wiring first and
no, you know what you do. You tell them that you're going to leave, and then they'll give you something, or they won't increase as much.
What? Say that again.
You tell Sky you're going to leave, and you're not going to pay them any more, and then they suddenly will sing a very different tune.
I know, my ma does that all the time.
Yeah, so do my family. It works.
My ma has done that for years with Sky, and in fairness, though, she's been with Sky since they first came out, so like way back in the day. So she's been a loyal customer all the way through. So you can, at the end of the day, because they got Sky, we got Sky, that sort of way. So kind of passed it kind of down. Yeah, Sky would want to be a bit more loyal to their loyal customers. I think it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, we've got the basic package and we're paying it over, as I said, over £100 because we got the internet and the phone. Right?
It's ridiculous. Sky has been really good with me. Their customer service has been excellent with me. I have to say, I've heard so many horror stories, but to be fair.
Yeah, well, Cheryl now has ran into problems with them, but you are right. Most of all, with my dealings with them, I don't know whether is they're just pricks towards women, because I've always had a decent experience with them. But when Cheryl rang them up, when she tried to basically say, well, look, we'd like to keep the internet and maybe and keep the TV stations, but we need to get rid of the phone because the phone is the most, believe it or not though, the phone is the most expensive thing on the bill. But then they said to us, well, you can't because it's all one package.
Yeah, it's
I
all
only
connected with
pay a
Sky.
tenner for my. I pay £9 for my phone.
Well, that's mad because we pay completely something different. Seriously, man. That's why she's actually
Well,
said
mine
to
was
me
SIM
now.
only, so you know you just buy the phone.
Yeah,
And then...
she wants to change provider and all now. And the thing about it is, I know I can see where she's coming from because it's becoming expensive. But if we could just, like as you guys said, I know what Sky are like. You talk to them and you threaten that you're leaving and stuff, and like, but we're really considering leaving because it's like they won't get rid of the phone, and that's the most expensive thing. We don't need the phone now because we got our mobile phones and everybody has our number now. See, at the time when we got the phone, Cheryl wanted the phone so she could ring home. Sure, she doesn't use it. You know,
Yes, and
she
if you
doesn't
went to
use
another
it because
provider,
she talks to her family, she talks to her mum and dad on Messenger or WhatsApp on video. So, you know, we don't need the phone because like my parents have my mobile number and Cheryl's mobile number and the rest of the family. So there's no need for a phone in the apartment. And in fairness, I think there's only a few, 2 or 3 of us that actually have a phone in our apartment block because you don't hear phones ringing around here. So even our phone does a ring. That's the thing. If our phone was in use, I'd say, right, there's a use for it. But we haven't had a phone. Do you know what phone calls we get, Lee? Right? You probably get these as well. Do you know the dodgy phone calls from the sales reps from fucking Pakistan or something ringing you up and asking you, do you want to join something and can they have your bank details and all
Ever
this?
since I joined Sky, I get those a lot. But
Yeah.
I think I've forgotten what they were called, but there's an organisation you can be put onto a list.
That's right, and the numbers are all there. You can block them as well. No, I know what you're talking about.
It's an organisation. I can't remember what they're called. Maybe someone in the chat knows. But you sign up with them, and then any solicited, unsolicited call you get, you can report it. Right, and you get removed from that list. So
it's more that your number's been put out there at some point that these people
it's like those fake
telesale
people, the scammers, the hackers, I should say.
Yeah.
And they're always ringing. But here's the thing, right? They ring at 2 times here because we noticed we had to start taking the phone off the hook because they'd start ringing at 8 o'clock in the morning.
TPS.
Yeah, that's what they did with me.
2 o'clock in the afternoon and then 6 o'clock in the evening. Right? All the times that they would think that you're home, you know, lunch, breakfast, dinner. Yeah. So they're smart. so I mean, nobody except those scammy calls ring us. So there's no point in the phone. I just wish Sky would be a bit more, because Cheryl has tried a couple of times, you know, and whoever she's gotten on the phone hasn't been very helpful. But
if you sign up to TPS, you'll stop getting those calls.
Yeah,
automatically. Some will come through. What you do is you take a note of the phone number when they called, and then you report it, and then it will stop.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll put
I
the link
remember
in
I
the
had
chat.
to report them quite a bit because I was getting these calls, and and I realised that I could identify that it was these kind of callers. So I just take the pure piss out of them, because when they ever started to call, I just acted like kind of a bit stupid and all that.
Here, I'll give you another laugh right before we start the watch along, because this is funny. So I bought a brand new phone when I got that phone, right? The one that I won't let go of, right? I got the new chip, right? I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, right? So I got the new chip. So you have to buy credit over here. I don't know if it's the same in the UK. Maybe you'll be able to tell me if it is. So you have to buy, if you get pay as you go, you have to buy credit to activate the chip. And they can do it in store for you as well, and you'll get an extra 20 quid. It's actually very good the way to do it. If you register it in the shop, they give you 20 quid on top of the 20 quid that you've bought, so you get 40, right? So as soon as they did that and I got outside, I was on the bus, right? And I got a phone call. right? Now, at this stage, nobody had my number, right? Brand new number, nobody had my number, right? I checked to see where I was getting the call from, right? Azerbaijan, right? I got another call from Nigeria, right? I got a call from
Oh, billionaire uncle died, did
right? No, listen to this. I got a Montenegro, right? Got a phone call from Bosnia and Montenegro. That's it, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
isn't it Montenegro now? Yeah. So I got a phone call from there and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know anybody in fucking swear to God, man, random calls, right? But here was the strange thing about it. Every number that was ringing me was a digit off. Just a digit off. But you were saying you're from all these different countries. I got a phone call from Albania. I'm just gonna let you know now. I know nobody in Albania.
They're just truncating the calls. They got a centralized thing, and they're just using like a phone sort of
fucking Albania,
hiding where they're from.
Fuck's sake! If Albania, I don't know anybody in Albania, but seriously, man, it's weird how even when you get a new number straight away, you know, when it's out there and it's public, all of a sudden, then it's weird how it works. How these
TPS that will fix everything.
Not a bother, right? Okay,
I'll put the link in the chat, in the private chat as well.
Nice. So enough about me talking about phones and all of this. Sorry about that, guys, but you know us, we always have a bit of a chat before we start. I think you know that by now. Obviously, it's not toxics. We're just talking about phones and shit and not letting them go. But anyway, we're here for the Romans, so we're going to do part 1 and 2, and we'll just get straight into it. I won't ask the panel what they think of it because we'll just watch and they can talk while we're watching. So if everybody in the chat is ready, just let me know there and I'll just get part 1 ready, and I have to watch this in color, so I'm kind of devastated at the moment. But you know what? It might actually be interesting to see how good the costumes were.
I was going to say, at least it's a historical you watched in colour.
Yeah, so I'll give it a go and see. You never know. Let's see how good the costumes and the stages were, you know?
Right, we've got quite a few. Do you want me to do a countdown?
Yeah, you might as well, Queenie. You might as well.
Yep, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ugh.
Go, everybody. Go, everybody. Come on, everybody. Let's do the twist again.
Stop being weird.
Like we did last summer. Oh, it looks purple. The logo is purple. Oh, that looks well. Wow, that classic logo looks great in color, guys.
Yeah, they do look good in color.
They fucking do. It looks brilliant. Russell T, if you're listening, you know,
Safely down.
Yeah.
You could,
Safely
you
down.
know.
What's that movement, Doctor? What's happening, Doctor? Woo!
Right, this is froze already. Right, I need. Oh, wow.
We'll get the full commentary for the
we will
colour
look no because it's in colour. His end. We just had some proper Star Trek acting then, didn't we?
Yeah.
Shaking the camera a bit, and the actors being like, "Whoa!"
Wow, whoever's colorized this, do you know the way when they colorize it, they kind of overcompensate on the contrast and stuff, and it looks very red and kind of 3D looking. Well, I have to say, whoever's done this has got a fucking spot on. Spot on.
Oh, a bit of Ian Crutch there.
Give us a time. Give me a. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go out of this for a minute and refresh the whole thing.
Just hit the 2-minute mark.
Right. Well, I'm gonna refresh it first.
This doing a bit of gardening.
This site has really
the answer,
gone.
dear boy, is pipes. Pipes
Gone
just
to the
little
dogs.
pipes.
Gone to the dogs. Right, 2 minute mark.
Do you know what though? Ian looks good in a toga. He suits it. I even quite like the Doctor's outfit, to be fair. I think Bill looks quite good in his outfit.
I think Maureen O'Brien looks good in this. She looks good in a dress.
Vicky?
Yeah.
I think she's quite a pretty girl in general, so you don't need to put her in stuff.
And of course, Barbara Wright, Jacqueline Hill.
I'm very impressed by this colorization for what I can see. I mean, it's not working properly, but
See, I always think Barbara looks very elegant whenever her hair's properly up. When it's not the sort of big bouffant sort of natural hair. When she actually puts it up, it looks lovely.
And this story is completely remarkable because all of it was done in a studio on a budget.
Oh yeah, for the scale, they do well with the budget here. Because you almost have, like, with the music as well, I found this watching it. Some of the scenes do almost feel like they're from that era of classic movies.
Yeah.
That you would have of, like, Rome and those sort of really old-fashioned type of epics.
And I really like the Doctor in this one because the Doctor is really, he takes on the guise of Maximus Petulian, the liar, the player, and later on we kind of see him.
Well, yeah, throughout the whole episode, he's basically having to lie, isn't he? And it's interesting that he's like in this place where he's like, I can't let them know because they'll kill me. So the Doctor's always having to put on almost I'm trying to think of a word like an act.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
See, that just looks like curtain material to me.
Yeah.
It's not got much of a pattern. It's just like something you would. Keep getting your money, girl.
Mm.
So I never quite understood when I was watching this. So are the TARDIS crew basically squatting in somebody's house?
Yeah.
It looks that way.
Because it's a bit like they've been there for a month, and I'm like, so you've either just walked into this house, or you landed and the owner was there and he gave you permission.
Well, not if it was mostly the modern day Doctor Who's the Doctor would have known the person.
Oh yeah, it was modern day, definitely.
Yeah, but the classic Doctor, I mean, the classic Doctor, he's kind of a sleight of hand. He's a kind of mischievous kind of person.
Yeah, it was a bit more tricky, isn't it?
Very tricky, and I think that's what makes the character more interesting when he's like that, because he's unpredictable. You don't really know what he's going to do in that.
Well, the major difference between New Who Doctors and classic Doctors is that New Who Doctors sort of bank on their name, don't they?
Yeah.
The reputation, whereas classic Who, there was nowhere near that same amount of, oh, I'm the Doctor, I'm important, like, do as I say, type of characterization.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Larks' tongues, otters' noses,
and ants'
bit more posh than that.
It's going off the life of Brian.
Well, let's be fair. Nero is like something out of the life of Brian later on in the story. Sort of over the topness of him.
Go on, yeah.
So, who do you
the
think?
Worst emperor of Rome.
Well, apparently he was mad, wasn't he? But they make him more of a comedic figure in this, whereas from what I know, history-wise, Nero was just a bit of a nasty crackpot in actual Roman history.
Yeah.
Oh, he was evil beyond evil.
He was evil, yeah. You should watch a program called Most Evil Men in History. They also have a Most Evil Women in History. And
I think it was quite popular at first, but then he just went more and more mad.
He did. Yeah,
he was power hungry, wasn't he?
Yeah. Can I have a timestamp, guys? I found the black and white version.
Coming up to 10 minutes.
Grand.
Yeah.
Right, so I've missed half of the episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm not pleased about that.
Well, you've not missed any of the action yet. They're still sat about in the villa.
I'm pissed off now. Bleeding idiots.
Sitting around the table having conversations. It's a bit like a Chibnall episode.
I was gonna say, I'm sort of getting vibes of a certain.
Yeah, don't mention he who shall not be mentioned. Feck him.
And this is very Doctor-like. He's like, "Oh, I don't have to tell you, dear boy, where I'm going. I'm just deciding to go to Rome."
Chesterton.
Chesterton. Yeah.
I can't wait to get away from you for a couple of days.
That's when he's annoyed with him. He's Chesterton when he's not happy.
What was that noise?
Well, Vicky's is quite. In her first story, you saw that innocence, but she was a bit more capable. In this one, she does sort of turn into a bit of a squealing girl.
That I'm not capable of taking care of myself, eh?
I say, well, Doctor, in the last couple of stories, you've either been asleep or knocked out.
Yeah.
Not had a good track record of late.
He hasn't. He's getting senile, you see.
Oh, this old body starting to wear out.
That's it. And in real life, that's exactly what was, yeah.
It was described in the early days of Doctor Who that it was a senile old man lost in time and space.
See, well, was it senile or was it just a bit more crazy professor that they were trying to do?
Well, I really don't know. It was because it was described that he was a kind of senile old man that kind of lost his way And this was in the beginning. He was trying to find his way back to the junkyard and found this. The teachers stumbled upon the police box.
See, this is playful Barbara now.
Yeah.
She's having fun with Ian.
Messing up his hair.
You can see these two are forming a romantic bond, totally.
You know they're going to end up together once they leave. Did that happen in like the extended canon and stuff? Did they end up together?
Well, I always assumed they did because
Well, the chemistry between these two is there, isn't it?
Definitely.
Oh, she's doing his hair, Roman.
What is it, like a brush she's got? Because it's like he's literally in pain.
Looks like a lice comb.
Yeah, it's like some sort of comb, isn't it?
Well, the Romans were very smart, man. They had a lot.
They didn't wipe their bottoms with sticks with cloth on. I just want to say, in the toilet.
Yeah, but at least they actually had toilets.
Well, that's.
Yeah, and it's at least they improvised, the first tissue paper, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you've got to think, they were obsessed with having baths, at least.
Yeah. That's
well, they had, like, big fancy bathhouses.
It's lined with bin liner.
And the
Romans, to his head.
Romans were very liberal as well, as you know.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, they were.
with each other, I should say, with each other. Yeah. You gotta love a Roman.
Just not the slavery part.
No.
Which I actually think this story does a good job of showing the slavery stuff, because it's quite like they don't mince around with it. They quite show it for what it was, which was horrible and like this really dehumanizing practice.
Oh
but it wasn't just the Romans who traded in them.
No, it's been around for a long time. But let's not get into that. Let's just leave that way there now. This is, right, this Doctor Who, not
history.
But I get what you're saying. Fair point, Lee. Fair point. You're right. It does still happen. I mean, just everybody, if you have a pair of Nike on you or anything like that, or you have an Adidas top, just think of those poor kids in those factories that made that for you.
I love that. We're not going to talk about it.
One rule for me. One rule for me.
Yeah, I'm only messing. I'll leave it there.
I'll
leave it there.
See, I do love this thing. It's like, this is the playfulness, which is like the joking about going to the fridge. And this is the sort of dialogue you would have with a companion who was back in time.
Yeah.
And I do think almost we've lost some of that.
Yeah, it's a good one, but the fact that he fell for it, though. But I suppose you've been away for so long, you wouldn't, when someone says to you, oh, can you get me something in the fridge? You're going to automatically, without even thinking.
Yeah, but that's what I think. I love it because it's such a relatable human sort of thing for them to do in this time period. And I think sometimes companions can get too quick used to it. And I think it's nice when you see little signs of, or little reminders of them before the time travel. It's like in the last story when Vicky was like, oh, you must be like hundreds of years old. And I love that scene because it was a bit of reality hitting them again. Oh, God, this is a bit ridiculous coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, the knife.
What Barbara does.
Oh,
yeah, like how do you not hit the fella and hit Ian?
I know, like Barbara.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
It's not like you didn't have the excuse of them like going round in a circle or having a proper like really hard fight. He was literally right in front of you, love.
That'd be like something Cheryl would do. Except Cheryl would be...
No, she'd do it on purpose.
Oh, Daniel's just said, yes, Ian and Barbara were name-dropped as a couple at the end of the Sarah Jane Adventures episode with Joe.
Yeah.
So that would have been the Doctor's funeral episode. So then there you go, folks. In canon, they did end up as a couple.
Good. It was kind of implied, though, wasn't it?
Oh, that's what I was wondering, if it was ever official anywhere, or if it was just the fan speculation.
In fairness, if you look at what they went through and all together, and
oh yeah, it would bond people together.
Exactly, yeah. So
I think that's why a lot of companions end up being together, if you think about it, because you had Martha and Mickey, Amy and Rory. They were already a couple, but they got closer by being on adventures.
That's interesting. He's thinking, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like, how do I get out of this?
I mean, if you're like really thinking about it, being like, oh shit.
I mean, of all the names of the people that he could have
the last
chose,
person you want to meet is Nero.
Yeah, of all the emperors.
Yeah.
And there were a few. He's not like Nero was the only crazy one, but yeah, he was.
No,
the
but
nastiest.
he was probably the worst.
Yeah, that's my point. You probably would have been all right with some of the other crazy ones. Like who's the one who like
Caligula
thought his horse talked to him? Yeah, Caligula.
That's a bit of an urban myth, but yes, that's Caligula.
Yeah, that's my point. Though he was just he was just bonkers. I think you'd be all right with him.
Well, he thought he was a god, literal god.
Whereas Nero, like we said, he was a nasty piece of work combined with the craziness.
Yeah.
What has he got himself into?
And then there's that line that Vicky said that, "Oh, Doctor, you don't even know your own name."
And he plays a good scummy character, this trader.
Yeah.
You do want to punch him. Like he's very good at that sort of villain role he's playing.
I love how they identified her as a British woman.
Well, I suppose with that accent, she'd stand out, wouldn't she?
Possibly, yeah. Might be just the TARDIS translation circuits.
Well, yeah, but the translation circuits would mean she'd speak Roman, but it'd be with the
Romany British accent. Yeah, Roman British accent.
Yeah.
Which is, I've always thought, wouldn't it be fun to actually it'd never happen, but wouldn't it be fun to like watch a historical episode and actually hear what the Doctor and the companion must sound like?
Yeah.
It's like, do you remember when it was near the series 4 finale when we heard German Daleks, and it was German they were saying, but it was obviously a Dalek, and you just thought, oh, that sounds so weird.
And you had it in the Christmas Invasion as well, where you had, it was just weird because it was like you couldn't understand what was being said until the Doctor gained consciousness and everyone realised that something's happening because they can understand what's being said, and it's like, so it only works if the Doctor's conscious?
Well,
but that doesn't make sense because there's lots of times he's unconscious, but the TARDIS still translates.
It's Kenny Wolf. But I think the general idea of that is the Doctor and the TARDIS have a psychic link. and because. And also, well, supposedly you could argue he wasn't just unconscious, he was recovering from a regeneration. So he was quite vulnerable.
Yeah, but then every regeneration would be, no one would understand anything.
No, but I'm just thinking, like, think about how tense Doctor was. He was basically like asleep for a good chunk of that episode. So they really made it seem like this regeneration was quite traumatic. I know they keep doing that trick again and again, but I'm thinking of just we haven't seen that so
when
much
fans
at that
have
point.
to come up with their own theories.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? It was just so they could have that moment, wasn't it? It was just so they can have the big like he's here moment.
Oh dear.
Fail me again and you'll lose more than your tongue.
Just need a bit of a muahaha.
He really does.
Do that so well. There we go.
Gonna
Too embarrassing.
You've only just come up with this idea now, Lou.
We don't need to wind you up.
I know. I do it too sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember this opera singer that had done the Doctor Who theme. I can't remember her name, but it was for the. I think it was for the Doctor Who night in 1999, and it was for the end credits, and she sang it out.
No, I remember.
Hold on, Charlotte, before you say something. Just everybody in the chat, get your wands ready while Charlotte's telling her story, and then as soon as she's finished, then we'll get going on the next episode.
It's not much of a story. It's just I can remember when we got proms, and I used to always think it sounded so good with an orchestra whenever they would play the theme.
Yeah.
But we have 3 ones. Let's don't wait until we get a few more.
Okay, no. I think everybody is ready. I think everybody is ready. So, without further ado, go ahead.
Yep. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go, everybody. Do the twist again, like we did last summer. Oh, the music goes straight off. All roads lead to Rome.
All roads lead to Rome. Maximus Petulian. So you want to fight, do you?
That's it, Doc. You show him.
Yeah, by hitting him on the head with a vase, and putting water in his face.
I love it though. I love when Hartnell actually gets. That's it. Go on. I love the way he just.
Oh yeah, get him! There you go.
Young lady.
And Vicky literally makes him leap out the window.
Ready for the old one.
Why don't you have to come in and interrupt? He's pissed that he couldn't finish him.
Yeah.
Yep, he was enjoying that fight.
I think he was enjoying it way too much there.
Yeah, I think he was.
And Hartnell did all his stunts there. The Mountain Mauler of Montana. Of course, you haven't have to. Never mind.
Like, don't you think you should tell someone?
Like, no.
Yes, I must remember that name. Because this way it could be charged with crime. My dear, I was enjoying myself in a nice bit of fisticuffs.
I love the way
be murdered, but you know,
someone,
off you go.
they just get someone dumb, like.
God, I didn't even picture, like, look how thin her arms look.
Yeah.
I didn't realise because of that dress. She looks like matchsticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rama.
That's it. So basically, do what you're told is what he's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Never mind, I've nearly been killed, but you know, get off your pop, off to bed. Well, what she's wearing now is better than what the others are wearing. So, yeah.
I want you to look special at the slave auction.
Leon, it's not just that. She's like the youngest there by about 30 years. Like, they're all really old and not very well, these slaves.
But the conditions would have been worse than that in the slave trade days.
Oh God, yeah. But like I said, I think they do a good job. Obviously, they can't properly show it because the proper conditions were horrific. So they're trying their best.
You can also hear the dripping water, so they've made it kind of a bit sound realistic.
Oh yeah, I love this scene with the music as well. And Barbara's sort of like wondering when she's going to see Ian or if she's going to make it out, because this is like really dire, the situation her and Ian are in.
Yeah.
Shake it all about. And shake it all about.
Do the Roma Coca. And...
Yeah. See, Chibnall, that's how you tell a joke, right? You don't you don't get the fella to say the same thing about 15 times.
No, you don't.
Right? Twice is good enough. See? Is there? So you better do what you are told, or you're all gonna die.
But this was the interesting thing about the classic serials, the early serials, that the companions had a lot to do in it. They actually had to experience being in the Doctor's adventures, being back in time and that. Yeah, being flung into that and living these challenging events and pushed to the extreme because they've never experienced anything like that. And experiencing history for the first time.
Yeah, and it's like when you've got 6 episodes to play with, or 4, or like just these longer lengths of story, you can have good chunks of the companions doing either like their own little mission or getting captured, and like it's not just resolved in 10 minutes.
Yeah. And you can have a lot of interesting dialogue in it, and you can actually have a lot of interesting scenes in it, and it's far from boring. And I mean, you can actually sit through a 6 serial parter and enjoy it. As I feel that the modern day episodes just going quickly in about 45 minutes or to an hour.
I think the problem is sometimes the stakes are so high, but they don't have the run time to let that play out. That's the problem.
See, I think that's how the majority of the writers are actually failing the actual program, because they need that time to kind of to kind of space out the episodes, and just instead of cramming it all into one go. Because I mean, if you cram everything into one go, into one 45-minute episode, you're going to have a beginning, you're going to have an end, it's going to be a long drawn out process to just to be halfway to the end, and then it has to get resolved at the end of the episode. And that's what I feel with a majority of the modern day classics, that it's just it's got a pathetic ending.
Well, we'll see what happens, because obviously it's interesting now because of things like Netflix and other streaming things. The format for run length of an episode is completely now open. You can do 45 minutes, you can do an hour, you can do even longer than that. Yeah. Like, there's no hard and fast rule anymore, I feel like.
But it'll also be interesting to see what kind of Russell T Davies actually comes up with. Maybe change the format of the show.
I think he will. I honestly think he's going to. Yeah, I find this whole galley scene quite impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
You feel like it's claustrophobic. You do feel that like they're having to do this task, and how hard physically it is.
And you get the buckets of water ready as well. It's quite hilarious because behind the camera, they've got people with buckets of water just throwing buckets of water over.
Because they obviously, you can tell this is some fella with a bucket.
Yeah.
But like I said, the setting's really good. The actual set, I think, does a lot of good to convince you of the things that, like we said, that's not really high tech. It is just somebody above them with a bucket.
Yeah. You see the 2 buckets going.
Yeah, it's almost, like Kids Telly of the noughties. Reminds me of that. You'd have them do obstacles, and you just have things chucked at them.
But back then, they had very little kind of resources, but they had to use their imagination and their creativity, and that was their talent back then. And they'd done actually well. And I was saying £1,000 budget for each episode back then.
Well, that's the thing. When you've got a very small budget, everything matters.
Yeah.
So you can't be spending money willy-nilly. You can't just be silly with the money. You have to be
just misses her as well. There you go.
Yeah, this is a bit of Shakespeare. What's the term? It's to do with Shakespeare play where you've got like characters who just keep missing each other.
Yeah.
Like Midsummer Night's Dream sort of feeling. Go on, love, kick him. Go on, do it.
The problem is as well is they're too clean. I mean, for back then, I mean they didn't have much resources in the Roman times. You'd expect them to be kind of more grubbier and dirtied
well,
up.
yeah, yeah, can't get my words out. The problem was in Roman times, the rich were the rich. They could have the expensive things. They could have things like water and look that clean. Whereas if you were what would be the equivalent of working class nowadays, you were grubby because you didn't have the money for the nice sort of.
There's a lot of public baths, don't forget.
Yeah, but you'd have to pay to get in, surely. I've always thought, am I wrong there? I've always thought that, yes, they had a lot of public baths, but it was you'd have to pay to get in. Is he quite well known, this actor? I meant to ask you lot, because I recognised his voice, like Ian's friend.
I don't know if he's been in previous episodes of Doctor Who.
I swear I recognised his voice. I was like, have I seen you somewhere? Like either Doctor Who or other things?
That made sense. He was going for the chain and then pulled them off by the cuff.
Maybe the chains stretched the cuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you stop pulling a face like that, you'll be fine.
Oh, there's a choice.
He is trying to be nice to her.
For the upper class. Hmm.
Vicky's just like, Doctor, what on earth are you thinking?
See, at this point, the Doctor can't help himself because he's enjoying
getting
involved
just
in
in his
meddling
element
as well.
Yeah, and he's wanting. I think there's a bit of him wanting to meet Nero because he loves meeting historical figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, my child. Did you hear that instant composition?
You almost feel like if this sort of story is done later on in Who, and when Brian Blessed was about, they so would have cast Brian for this role as Nero. He would have just been perfect for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the campness, the sort of over the top, the comedy. He would just
the booming voice. What?
And the sulking. That's one of the things I love about Brian. He does sulking so fun.
Oh yeah.
When his characters are because he goes really small and really childlike when he speaks, so I can picture him doing that as well.
Have you ever watched I, Claudius?
No, is he in that?
No, I don't think he's actually. No, it's Derek Jacobi in it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's 70s Roman serialized drama of the rise and fall of Emperor Claudius. It's absolutely amazing.
Oh, was it made by BBC then?
Yes, back in its heyday.
Where they used to actually care.
It's fantastic. You can find it online places.
Well, I know it won't be an iPlayer. They don't tend to put stuff that old on it.
I highly recommend it.
You don't really get much Roman stuff nowadays. There was such a heyday of it, wasn't there?
Mm.
Whether it's films or television, they don't really want to touch it now.
The series Rome was very good, and then they cancelled it only after 2 seasons. Really sad.
And the politics were for all they were that messy. They were that sort of.
It was very contemporary.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's very much like the modern world.
Oh God, yeah. If you think about what politics is like now, you can definitely see the matching, can't you, to Roman times?
All the machinations.
Yep, and all the plotting and all the. You can only be on the top for so long until somebody gets you.
Yeah, it's very Roman. Very, very Roman.
And like I was saying, I think the decadence of the Roman Empire, but it was built on basically slaves.
Mm-hmm. Right on cue. Oh, Floofy. Poor things.
And this is so blatant stock footage, isn't it?
And they wouldn't have fed the lions with meat. They would have left them hungry for the.
Oh yes, they did.
For the fight. There you go. Wait for Noel to catch up.
No, I've caught up. There we go. It's done. It's done. It's done. Oh, I was just stretching there. Sorry. Right. Well, we're not rating it obviously this week, so if you want to give you your thoughts on what you have seen so far, that would be absolutely fantastic. But leave your rating until next week, guys. So we'll start with you first, Lee.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's one of the better historicals. The Doctor is absolutely delightful in this. I love the little fisticuffs he has, and you know, it's interesting to see sort of Ian being split off and what he's having to endure, and then what Barbara's having to endure, being sort of kidnapped and turned into slaves, and can't wait to see more of Nero. He's always a fascinating character wherever he's portrayed. Yeah, so it's just a delightful story. What can I say? Quite happy with it so far.
Fantastic. Real Super Doctor.
It's a rather interesting story, this, because you've got the companions are completely split apart in this, and they're going one way and going the other way, and they're desperately trying to get back together again, and it's a very challenging episode for them, and I think this is one of my favourites of the Hartnell era, especially the historical one. That and the Crusade. I quite like the introduction, the TARDIS being the TARDIS being kind of thrown off a cliff, and the travellers had found this house, and they started to occupy this house, and started to kind of live in the Roman times, and the costumes on and that, and they started to kind of blend in and that, and but the Doctor getting involved, the Doctor couldn't help himself, but just to kind of interfere with history, and it kind of this will contradict what he said to Barbara in the Aztecs about you can't interfere with history, not one line. But as the Doctor does, he takes on the guise of Maximus Petulian, the lyre player who was slaughtered by the tongueless man. Yeah, quite enjoyed it.
Fantastic. And Queen Charlotte.
Well, I honestly prefer the first half of this story, because I just feel a little bit like the second half, it drags a little bit, and it gets a little bit, I don't say confusing, because it's not, it's just there's a lot going on, I feel like, in the second half. And it just, sometimes certain things just feel a bit like they get crowded. But this half I really quite like, because you do have the setup of them actually staying somewhere for a month. They're not like constantly adventuring, so you do see them more relaxed, which is nice. You sort of see a more calmer version of the Doctor in that first sort of episode on 2. And I think it's, like I said, I like the sort of, I agree that the companions being split up like that, and the Doctor sort of his own accord going separate. So you do sort of have this feeling of like, God, when are they going to find each other again? And you do sort of wonder like how they're going to get out of this one. And like, I think that we've said the sets are brilliant. I can't knock the sets at all for the whole story. I think they really outdid themselves with this set, because it's quite it's not too big, but it's got the right amount of sense of grandeur that it does suit Rome. Like I said, it does suit that theme of the decadence of Rome, that you had these beautiful buildings and dresses and all this. And they got that down to a T. So yeah. But I do think the second half gets a little bit muddled with what it wants to do.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, guys. You want to do use our channel shout outs? I'll give my review next week when I watch the other 2 parts. To be honest, it kept skipping all the time, so I wasn't getting to see it all. So I'll wait till next week to see it. Why have we got 2 real super doctors?
Yeah, I can't see 2.
Yeah, another one's just at the showing up.
It's probably because getting kicked off on the internet, it does that sometimes.
No.
There, it's gone. Okay, it's gone. Right, do use our channel shout out, guys.
Who's first?
It doesn't matter. One of you. Go ahead. Knock yourselves out. Who's brave enough to go first?
Ma'am.
I'll go because I've got my 2 main things. So Dan the Space Book, we did quite a lively show on Thursday where we talked a lot about the rumours and the news. So that was a nice live one. Even Lee joined us, so if you want to hear a bit of Lee near the end, so that should be up on the Space Book. And we're back on Thursday. And I should be actually doing the Telly Club on Tuesday coming up with Dan when we talk Life on Mars. And then me and Daniel are back on Monday, our Second Line of Duty episode review.
Fantastic. Problem being,
you can find me at Aldred Audio Visual, and you can find me on the twats at Being a Problem.
Fantastic. Real Super Doctor.
You can find me on Twitter under Real Super Fugitive Doctor, and John Caligari on YouTube.
Fantastic. And you know where to find me. I'm here all the time. Not going anywhere. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow for
Rings.
Yeah.
Rings.
Oh, that bloody song.
So yeah, we have myself. Yeah, as I said, myself and Lee don't like the fucking song, and anytime that song comes up now, no, but anytime that song comes up now, the picture, the mental image that I get in my head is all those.
Cheese. I can't handle the cheese.
It's all those little muppets that, and some of them bullies doing that video for the Doctor Who lockdown where the idiots got together to sing that song, and everybody was saying, "Oh, look at me, narcissist! Is so lovely. Look at them all coming together." Little did they realise that about several of them in that video are bullying long-term fans and female fans out of the out of social media. So yeah, reap what you saw. But yeah, that's anytime I hear that song now, that video just pops into me head. I just feel like getting sick in a sick bucket. Especially when we see
Ginger Snap.
That fucking pisses me off him. To just get around, but that's just the way it is.
Little shit.
It doesn't matter anyway. They'll all, when RTD breaks their hearts, we'll all have the last laugh anyway. Actually, before we do go, obviously the rumor central, it's flying. And as you know, we've spoken about most of the things that are being talked about now, which is weird, but fair enough. It seems to be news to everybody, but we broke it here. But Catherine Tate's name again.
Yeah, again.
Now, I did when Catherine Tate's name was originally brought up, right? I did say yes, she was in Cardiff and stuff like that, right? So everybody was assuming that she was probably filming for Flux, right? She was probably filming for. Look, she's either going to turn up in the 60th or she's in the centenary, right? I think she is going to be in it. I mean, if they're bringing back David Tennant, but look, all this was spoken about before, and it makes sense in a way because it's RTD coming back, and the 60th is a one-off event. So while media outlets out there want to say all these rumors are blowing the fandom apart. They're actually not blowing the fandom apart. See what's happened here.
No, the show's been blown apart and the fandom's been blown apart for fucking years. But these same assholes who reporting this kind of nonsense rhetoric, this hyperbolic nonsense, are the ones who are championing this fucking era.
Well, here's the thing:
apart this fandom.
The only side that's been torn apart by the rumors are the side that actually have supported this era, have engaged in the kind of behavior that we have talked about several times on this channel. And the reason why they're blown apart from it, because the realization has set in for them now that everything wasn't rosy in the Garden of Eden when it came to Jodie Whittaker's era. Jodie Whittaker's era was a complete failure from top to bottom. Now, whether it was all her fault, whether it was all Chris Chibnall's fault, is irrelevant now, right? Right now, we're looking towards the future. The RTD is coming back, right, which should have been a signal to those fans in the first place. But I think these latest rumours have made them realise, and the fact as well that the Radio Times has also reported, because Jamie Magson Stone is actually going to be directing Jodie Whittaker in our last episode, and he brought up the regeneration. And it was funny?
So tearful. Everyone was
and wasn't it funny? Wasn't it funny that he kind of hinted towards that Jodie Whittaker's regeneration mightn't be the same as what other regenerations have been in the past? Now, if you remember the rumor I spoke about on this channel, I spoke about it on this channel when RTD was announced. I said it. There'd be even before RTD was announced, there was a possibility. There was a possibility that Jodie Whittaker, we'd see the start of her regeneration, but we actually wouldn't see who she'd regenerate into.
I think that the logistics of it are very simple. You want as much fucking instant disconnect from this era as much as possible.
Exactly.
Also, you don't want to spend the entirety of the 60th special dealing with a post-regenerative doctor.
That's what I don't see. This is what I believe, and this is why I believe, and I know there are fans out there that right now don't believe that RTD should retcon. But you see, the thing about it is, if you look at the indication that I seem to be getting from him without knowing what Chris Chibnall's going to do in these last two episodes, is that either way, RTD is going to clean break from it anyway.
Yeah, because if you're not getting the full regeneration, I think people need to just accept that now.
I don't think she is. I don't think she is. I think we'll see the start of the regeneration energy, and I think they'll leave it on a cliffhanger. I really do. And we spoke about this. But again, I've been saying this is all like breaking news and all this. No, it's not. We've spoken about this on this channel months and months ago.
Well, it's like the whole David Tennant thing, you're on that months and months ago.
I know, that's what I mean. Look, because I'm not on Gallifrey base, obviously the media is not going to pick on it, and I'm a small channel, which I just have to accept. But it does kind of piss me off when they're giving Gallifrey base the credit for all of this when it actually came from this channel first.
Mm-hmm. True. Fact. That is a fact.
So, I mean, look, all I just say is that, remember I told you this, that I've been hearing things about what's planned for the 60th, but I can't say anything. All I've said to you is that I know from what I've heard, and if any of these things that I've been told that we can't speak about right now, right? Other stuff is leaking out now, which is fair enough. But for what I've been told, the 60th is going to be something that fans have never seen before, and it's going to be utterly spectacular in every way. Not just CGI, not just beautiful backgrounds and landscapes, but the acting and who he has planned on bringing back, if all of it is true. And I tell you, it'll be something. Look at, if this doesn't win fans over, I'm told, then there's nothing that can be done for the show. But I do believe he will. Look, I don't care who comes back, right? I don't care if RTD gives us a nostalgia fest for the 60th. When Series 14 comes around, then that's where the real work begins, as far as I'm concerned, right? And that's where then he needs to show us now what he has brought new to the table. I wouldn't be surprised that others have suggested, including Lee on this panel. Wouldn't be surprised if RTD for the 60th does something familiar to win over the casual fans and to win some of those fans back. And then Series 14, then he'll hit us with something amazing. I know it. I just got a good feeling about this now. And even some other script editor, I don't know if he works on some of these. I think he works on some of these other shows. He's brought in some script editor now as well.
I know somebody from Big Finish.
Oh, is it from Big Finish?
Daniel knows the name.
All right, so there you go. So someone from Big Finish. So are they, in reality, we could ask this, would he try, I don't know, maybe he'll try make Big Finish canon or something.
Well, why don't, you know, I mean, assuming things go well, and he wants to have a Whoniverse, why not give Big Finish the 8th Doctor adventures in like a TV show or a TV serial?
Yeah, that would work.
Look, I'm just going to say
they've done the 8th Doctor perfectly well.
Get the main show back to solid foundations. And yes, I would say to RTD, and I would say to anybody connected with Bad Wolf, listen to fans, right? Ever since Doctor Who came back in 2005 and we found out that Paul McGann wasn't actually going to be playing the Doctor, there's always been a will and a want for his Doctor to get his own adventures. Now, if he's played as well, trust me, there's plenty of money to be tapped into, but trust me, you can gain a lot more fan. I'm telling you now, you fix Doctor Who solid, and you bring in a Paul McGann mini-series, right? And put it on late night, make it more like a Torchwoody thing, like, I mean, in the adult kind of, for the adults, you know what I mean? Keep the main show, bring out a Paul McGann, make it an adult one so you can show all the gruesome side of the Time War, whatever situation you want to put them in, right? And then you can think about then expanding them. Then you can have it in Ace Adventures or something. You could bring Nicola Bryant back as well or something, get her to work with Ace or something like that. Or bring back Jenny. She's doing, obviously, the Big Finish audios, but why not actually give, George...
Give Daniel Martha Jones.
Or you could bring Martha Jones.
Girlfriend back.
Listen, you could have Torchwood back with Martha Jones in it as well. Like, she was in Torchwood, and I thought she did very well in Torchwood.
And there's certain space that needs to be filled now. Wink, wink. So she'd fit well.
Not only that as well, BBC 3 is up and running again now. They're going to need some quality programming because for what I've heard...
That'll be a first.
Yeah, but for what I've heard is people, since it's come back, are not happy with the quality of entertainment. So maybe RTD, I'm not saying it will happen, but maybe Doctor Who Confidential could go back on BBC 3. I remember Torchwood originally began on BBC 3. It was tested on it, and because it was so popular then, they put it on BBC 2. Then it moved from BBC 2 to BBC 1. Children of the Earth is when it moved to BBC 1. So, yeah, look, the potential is there, but he has to get the main show right. But let's see what he brings us for the 60th. But from what I'm hearing, and others are hearing out there, it's an exciting time to be a Doctor Who fan right now. Right, the 60th is something to look forward to. When Series 14 comes around, we'll get around to that. But right now, the concentration is on the 60th anniversary, and I tell you, I just can't wait to see what he pulls out of the bag. I really can't. From what I'm hearing, there's no. If it's true, if he can pull it off, let's just say it'll be the best thing that we've seen in a long, long time. It'll be huge.
Let's hope he focuses on doing things for the right reasons, the creative reasons, the popular reasons, rather than...
Well, he did back in the day.
The Twitterati reasons.
Well, in fairness, he did back in the day, and there was a lot of that nonsense going on as
Twitter
well.
wasn't a thing, so...
No, but there was other social media platforms, wasn't there?
Not like today. And
today.
Twitter having a stranglehold on Doctor Who like it has done for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
it's got to stop.
But I think RTD, you know, he's a clever man, right? He loves Doctor Who, right? I mean, he knows how Doctor Who was written. And this is why I believe, you know, at first, you know, before he's announced, but I knew his name was being mentioned, I did kind of say to you, you know, maybe this show needed fresh blood and not to give it back to the boys' club and stuff like that. I did say that in the early days, but I think everybody did. But the thing that makes when I kind of knew that it was going to happen, I kind of said I looked at the positives and I looked at the negatives, and there were more positives than there were negatives. The one thing I do know is that he understands this show. He did back in 2005, and I believe he does now. I don't believe he will pander to certain people on Twitter. I think what will happen is he'll write the best version of the show possible, because, you know, he knows that Doctor Who shouldn't be used as a platform the way it's being used now. He knows that Doctor Who is a sci-fi show, but he also knows that if he wants to get some of that agenda in there, he knows how to do it. We've seen how he did it in 2005. And remember, he's gotten a lot more experience now, right? He's went off and he's made a hit show after hit show. He's coming back on top of his game, right? So I actually have no worries right now. For me now, I'm just excited to see who he casts, to see his logo, to see his new TARDIS, you know, stuff like that. I'm actually pretty confident that writing-wise and character development-wise and story plot-wise, we're actually going to be okay with RTD. So I'm not actually worried about any of that stuff right now. I'm just excited to see the stuff that he does. But I will say the casting now will be telling. And let's hope he's picked the right person for the role. And, you know, I believe he will as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. Look, I say we're getting close to something because the momentum seems to be picking up now. Now a script editor has been announced. So I think we're getting closer and closer now. I think there'll be a few more announcements before the main announcement comes.
Probably around March. Yeah, around the time of the next.
Like I said,
thrilling installment of the Jodie Whittaker.
Like I said March. I said it'd be next year anyway. I said February or March, right? So we're in line for that. We're in line for that. Look, it's logical. I mean, look, I've kind of I've made sense of it, because at first I said to myself, well, it doesn't make sense that they drop all this info while Chibnall actually has two stories to go. But I think they've just gotten to the stage where they know this is a dead duck now, and, you know, feck it, let's just announce everything. Running style. Yeah, and maybe in some of their thinking, because BBC, remember BBC, the two episodes that are coming are BBC produced. After this now, it's Bad Wolf. But maybe Piers Wenger or someone thinks they're being clever. Well, we announce all this RTD stuff, it's generating interest for Doctor Who, so people will watch the last two episodes. But what he doesn't realise is actually taken away from those two episodes, because, you know what, we're not interested, Pierce. We're not interested, Chris. You know, and Chris, one more thing. You got 2 episodes to go, yeah? We don't want you to see 50. We don't want to see you drop 15-minute videos to try and explain what you wrote, right?
Really
if you didn't do that on the episode itself, well, then just now go back into that hole where you've been put now, and stay there and don't come back out again. We don't want any explanations. If you can't actually write a script that explains what you're trying to do, well then, you know, you're buzzing off anyway. But, like, you know, keep your videos to yourself. We're not interested.
Oh, so you're not like looking forward to the inevitable 40-minute one we're going to get for the centenary?
No. Because what? Look, you know this as well as I do. Every showrunner's job is, if they're telling a story, it's their job to tell the story in a way that the audience understands, right? I don't even think Chris Chibnall... Look, at those two videos are embarrassing, and I'll tell you why they're embarrassing. They're not embarrassing because he's coming on to try and explain, right? He's embarrassing because when you look at his face when he's trying to explain, you could tell that even he's confused. Even Jodie Whittaker, the poor woman, when she was trying to explain what was going on, she even looked confused, right? He doesn't know what he did. He doesn't know what he did, the fucking idiot. And even after a 15-minute video, he still couldn't know what he was doing. He still doesn't know.
The centenary is going to be like feature length, isn't it? We're all guessing.
Yeah, it's just...
Like, so leave it out. An extra long explanation video.
Listen, just leave it out. We don't want them, right? We don't want them. This is what we want you to do. You made a mess, right? And even though you've made a mess and half of it doesn't make sense, you actually still have a get out of jail clause, right? Open that fucking fob watch, say it was all lies, and walk away into the sunset.
Yeah, she opens a fob watch. She opens a fob watch, and he goes, ha 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 ha. It's just like jokes on you.
Watch, and like a hologram of the master appears, just to say, like, you believed me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll get Noel Edmonds to come out and say gotcha, because remember he used to have that show, right?
And then she regenerates into Noel Edmonds.
No. Then she regenerates into David Tennant, because we've all said the reaction to that rumour, I now want it to happen.
Yeah, because it's...
I want it to happen for the simple reason is, right? I want it to happen for the simple reason is because David Tennant, Matt Smith led the 50th. David Tennant, in my opinion, does deserve actually to lead the 60th. If Peter Capaldi, I don't know what the story is with Peter Capaldi, whether he was asked back or not. We don't know anything about Peter Capaldi. But you would think realistically that it would be Peter Capaldi leading the 60th, because he was the last Doctor before we obviously got the abomination that we got. But you know, going back to David Tennant to me makes sense, because he was and still is, and last night's video showed that he won that. Well, it's still an open vote, but he's in the lead in that poll. He's number one. So him and Tom, it always rotates between those two being the most popular doctors. So I can understand why he's back for the 60th if that rumor is true, because, you know, he is a popular doctor. But if Jodie Whittaker was to regenerate into David Tennant's Doctor, that would be such a kick in the teeth to the other side. I know, but it'd bring all the wall of illusions down. It would. And you know what? On one hand, I want it to happen because I want them to realise, because if they can learn from this and they can understand that they've been lied to, well, then maybe then in the future, then they won't be so easily caught up and stuff like that. It's not because I want to see them lose their shit and get some joy out of it. I'm really gone past all of that. No, I am. I've gone past it because I don't really care, Lee. How they, you know, just seeing their reaction does make me giggle a lot. Now they know how we actually feel. You know, it's not nice, isn't it, not when people keep criticising your doctors like what yous have been doing. We justly criticise Jodie Whittaker's performances, but have gotten stick for it. So look, if that happens, if that does happen, I can understand why it has. And at the same time, I don't care how they react, but the wall of lies will come down all around them. And then look, when RTD comes back properly, he's going to show up. I know for a fact he's going to show up these ratings. There's no way he's getting worse ratings than Chris Chibnall. So already they're going to be improved. So as I said, this is how they'll spin it. So for the last few years, they've been telling you that the ratings are fine, right? TV habits have changed. You know, you've even had some accounts out there that have compared them to streaming services, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But there you go. That's the spin, right? But this is what will happen when RTD breaks and shatters Chris Chibnall's ratings. It will be, they'll contradict themselves then. This is what they'll say. The reason why Jodie Whittaker's era wasn't that popular then was because it was the Not My Doctor's fault, because we were a bunch of sexist, racist bigots, right? So that's what they'll say. They'll turn it on us. It's our fault then. This is classic fan behavior from these, and it happens in every fandom. That's what they'll do when they realize the game is up and their wall of lies and the walls of illusions have come down. Then they'll turn it on us. They'll contradict themselves, but then they'll say, "Well, it's your fault. You're the ones that, because you didn't like a female doctor, you were racist towards the companions and all of this." And on board.
What the added thing would be? Oh, your negativity just influenced people to not watch the show.
Exactly. And that's not the case at all, right?
Yeah, it might never cross their mind that maybe, just maybe, it was a load of shit. And that's just what it really boils down to, is that it was preachy, it was boring, it was filled with shit. Period. Full stop. End of story.
And now we go into a new era with a little bit of hope and a little bit of optimism, and let's see what happens anyway. So we'll see. Yeah, I know what you're saying about Rose, and he changed things in the novelization about Rose, right? But the difference is that's the novelization. It's not actually canon because it's not the main show. So like two separate things there. I knew someone was going to bring that up about RTD. Listen, be under no illusion. RTD is progressive with his politics. Always has been, right? Look at his era. I think a lot of you fans need to be reminded of his era. That's why we will be doing his era again, because I want to remind you fans of his era, because his era is very progressive. He had a very good way of introducing characters as well and giving them development.
Let's be clear, there is nothing wrong with progressive ideas. It's just the implementation. Like, a lot of what is being passed today as being progressive actually isn't progressive. It's very regressive.
Yeah.
So there is a massive difference between genuine liberal ideas and the implementation of the new woke identity politics, which is a tyranny, frankly.
Yeah.
So it's not the same thing. So we must be aware that when we talk about progressive politics, is that we want to progress as a people, but the term progressive has been co-opted by a bunch of radicalized neo-Marxist postmodernists who want to deconstruct everything and basically create a new caste system, which is completely counter and a counterfeit, really, of progressive ideas. It's using progressive labels, but it's not progressive at all, not in the slightest.
Well, look, this is a conversation to have. We'll see what happens with his casting and stuff like that, and then we can get into his writing and how. Look, I know we've gotten into this cycle. It's been 5 years, right? We've been told we're not fans and this, that, and the other. And I know there's a lot of anger.
Yeah, that is not fans.
And negativity, right? And I know no matter what choices are made with Doctor Who right now, just like Star Wars fans, you aren't going to be happy. But what I would say to you guys is this, what I say to Star Wars fans is this, is that there are still some fans that are hopeful that this can all be turned around. So I'd say to the naysayers out there who are not going to give the show a chance no matter what, because they just can't get out of the cycle that they're in, which is fair enough because it's been a long 5 years. Don't ruin it for anybody else, which is a bullshit. Right? Keep it to yourselves, basically. Right? Until RTD gives us an indication that he's going to double down or triple down and continue the same pattern course as Chris Chibnall, I'm going to stay optimistic about the future of this show until RTD gives me reason not to believe that he is the fit for Doctor Who, right? Listen, guys, everybody just needs to relax for a while, right? We don't know what's going to happen yet. We don't know who he's going to cast. We don't know what he's going to do right now. We haven't been given that much. Right now, what we've been given is who he's bringing on board. Until we see, I don't care what he did in the, I know about that novelization because that was the first thing that fans brought up when RTD was announced because they wanted, I don't know what they wanted, but you're not going, nobody out there is going to stop me from being optimistic or being happy about RTD's return. And I think there are some people out there that are just, they won't move on, but they don't want other fans to move on with them. So they want them to feel bad for feeling this way. And I'm not going to have that. No way. I'm sorry. But we'll see if we're wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll come out here like I always do. And I'll say I'm wrong. But I'm giving them a shot. And I'm optimistic. And nobody's going to change that. Until I see whether he is the right fit or not, then I'll make up my mind. But right now, everything that I've heard and seen so far, and everything that's been leaked that we've all heard, it all sounds very interesting. And I do have a little bit of hope for the future. But nobody's taking that away from me. So if you're not on board with the RTD era, right, because the Timeless Children nonsense is not being retconned, that's fine. Fair enough, you're entitled to do that. But please do not ruin the experience of the excitement that fans actually do have out there. And there is a lot of
it's a simple wait and see, you know. I mean,
that's it. That's all I'm just trying to say.
Perfectly understandable where people are at
I get
it has been a concerted campaign.
I agree.
Of the current era to demoralize fandom, and you know, it's taken its toll. So
no, I agree,
it's very hard
and that's why I say I do understand it. But those fans need to understand as well that we also have our feelings and our thoughts. And right now, we're feeling a little bit optimistic. We might be wrong, but we could also be right. So let us have that. That's all I'm just saying. Just let us have that for now, for the time being.
Hope springs eternal.
Let's have that little bit of hope and that little bit of optimism for now. Yeah, it might all go pear-shaped, but right now Doctor Who fans are happy. Well, as I said, most Doctor Who fans are happy. Relatively happy. Certain announcements have to be made for fans to be fully happy, which is fair enough, and I understand all that. All I'm just trying to say is that, you know, let us just enjoy this moment for now until we see what happens. And then if it all goes pear-shaped, then you can all come and tell me, I told you so and all, which is fair enough, right? But right now, there's no indication that he's going to go one way or the other. So I'm going to wait and see what happens. And the first thing that's important to me is to see who he casts as the Doctor. And then we'll know from there really where he's going to go with this. And hopefully it's the best person that he considered for the role, and he's right, and we should be there. I hope he does go for it. I'm gonna say personally, I hope he goes for a male Doctor this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So I'll say it this time. But if he casts a woman, fair enough. He casts a woman. We'll see who he casts, right? And then I'll make up my mind whether I'm watching or not. Right? It'll be based on the actress. They have to listen. As I said, my preference is a male Doctor. But if he goes for a female Doctor and he decides to go with a female Doctor, well, then he better pick an actress that I consider and fans consider a decent actress. It can't be another Jodie Whittaker type of actress or a Jo Martin type of actress. They're soap and BBC drama level, right? Doctor Who is a different level altogether. You need an actress of Olivia Colman's stature or Jodie Comer. That's who I'd be looking at. That's the level I'd be looking at, right? Or a woman that was a Claire Foy that was in The Crown, right? That's the level. They're the only actresses that I would say, all right, I'll give it a go, but I'm still not really, I'm not a fan of the female Doctor, but I'll give it a go. because I know they're good actresses, right? But my preference is a male doctor. Want to make that clear. And honestly, myself and Charlotte actually said this. We do believe he'll go with a male doctor because even the
I
way
think he has to.
he's referenced, but even up until recently, he's referenced the doctor as a male doctor. So I mean, look.
Yeah, and also I think he likes the male doctor, female companion dynamic.
I think that's the dynamic that he likes writing for. Yes.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I think that's a dynamic he likes to write for.
Yeah, you don't need the doctor to be female to have good female representation.
And listen, the companions that RTD has had, in fairness to them, have all been strong, right? Even Rose, she developed and she grew, right? Martha Jones especially. But look at Donna's transformation from the runaway bride to then when she travelled the whole world and she met the doctor then in the very first episode in Series 4, the Adipose episode. And they have the moment, but she's completely different. She's more confident. And then you see the dynamic between Donna and the doctor and how she helps the doctor. There are times where he can cross the line and she reels him in. Look, I like that dynamic. I think that's the dynamic he'll go with. I actually wouldn't mind an older companion. Whether he'd go with an older companion now is again. It depends on the doctor, but I wouldn't mind a kind of a Donna Noble type character again, but he probably will do what he did in 2005 and probably go with a younger companion. Depends on the doctor as well, or he could have companions. You never know. See, this is the thing. There's loads that are unknown right now. But is there anything else, guys, you would like to add to that before we head off for the night? I know Charlotte's got a couple of minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to add to any of those things that we spoke about there, Charlotte?
I'm completely excited for RTD's return because I feel that he's going to hit the nail on the head with Doctor Who. I think he's going to take this show and he's realised that what's going wrong with it and why nobody's why it's failing in that, and he knows all the problems with that, and that's why he's probably looking at the Jodie Whittaker era, taking notes and looking down at reading what's wrong with it and all that.
Listen,
because I think there's hope for this. I think there's hope for Doctor Who. So I'm just going to say to everybody right now, if they're feeling terrible about the show, it's never to give up, because this was your passion. This is everybody's, the whole of the fandom's passion. Please don't give up. Don't give up on this show, because I think this RTD series is going to be really something. And
we stuck around for 16 years without the show on TV, so we're not going to give up on Doctor Who ever.
Listen, I do agree with that sentiment. There are fans that have given up, and it's understandable. And I get it 100% why they have. But I do agree with you. Right now is not the time to give up on Doctor Who. Yes, this era has been everything that we wish it wasn't. The behaviour of the supporters and the fans of this era towards fans like us has been nothing short but of criminal, right? We know that. It's been tough. It's been an emotional roller coaster. Some of us have had our bad days. Some of us have broke down on stream. Myself, Lee included. Yeah. We've all had our moments, right? This is not the time when RTD is coming back. We don't know what he's going to give us yet. Listen, if he gets it all wrong, then we will walk away. It'll be the hardest decision to make, but we will. But this is not the time, not when RTD is coming back, when he was the guy that brought it back in 2005 and hit the ground running. We have to at least give him a chance. He deserves that. He deserves that chance. Sorry, Leo.
But Dave Talbot makes a point. It says it will be make or break for RTD. He knows his entire reputation balances now on a pin. He cannot afford to screw this up.
He won't.
Right? he's got to listen to his inner creative voice and not listen to what's being said on Twitter or Instagram or what Jodie Whittaker thinks about who should replace her and make notes.
Yeah.
Forget all that shit. Okay, your reputation, Russell, is on the line, and that's not just as a fan. This is like, you've got to win the general audience back, and the general audience, if you haven't noticed, like, I know you're a big supporter of the BBC and all that, but you must understand the reason why the BBC failed is because it stopped listening to the people it purported to be for. You've got to understand that Doctor Who's meant to be for everybody. And you've got to understand that not everybody is a Corbynite. Not everyone is super duper middle class, bourgeois, liberal, stroke, neo-Marxist, postmodernist, right? Not everyone is down for the identity politics. Not everyone who's LGBT. Not everyone who's a person of color, or not everyone who is disabled. Not everyone who is a woman is 100% down as a monolith with the current modus operandi of the identitarians. Okay, not everyone is on board with that. And the BBC has not listened to any of those voices, which talks about inclusion and diversity, but listens only to certain people of those certain groups without listening to the others who dissent, like myself.
Yeah, but I do think
you can't afford to start thinking of people as being tokens of representation without actually having any bearing. And I think RTD generally understands individuals more than just groups of people. I think he does understand that, and I think it's important that he has the strength of character to be progressive in his way, without selling out to the Twitterati crowd.
No, but he gives them a human element as well, though. There's a human element. Listen, he understands society. So obviously society has changed since 2005, right? He will find a way. He always does. And he's very clever. Listen, we know story will come first no matter what, right? If he wants to introduce new characters from different groups, even though I know you strongly don't believe in groups, but just say he does, right? I know for a fact that if he does do that, that he will, whatever character he's introducing and whatever group they belong to, just say, right? He will do that character justice, though, because his character development is some of the best.
But he's not going to have someone come on, hello, I'm gay, and then dies.
Like what Chibnall did.
That's embarrassing.
So that was embarrassing. That's baiting fans, and that's being disrespectful and disingenuous to the people that you're supposed to be pandering to. I do not believe for 1 second that RTD will do that. Look, I spoke about this on this channel when he was announced. I told you that there was a meeting. He talked with the licensees. He talked with other people out there, right? He's gotten a feel how people think and how this era is perceived, right? He knows. So he knows now what the problems are. There's no way in hell he is going to make the same mistakes as Chris Chibnall. He knows where it's gone wrong, right? So he will make sure. Listen, if there's one thing, he's the master of promotion. He's the master of interviews. You listen to his interviews. You watch his interviews. He's a very clever man, right? He's on it. He has his pulse on the button. Man, seriously, I have no worries about what he does in that regard, because I know he'll do it properly. It'll be whether his stories. This is the main thing that I am concerned about. Obviously, I don't want them 60. Yeah, give us the nostalgia. Yeah. Series 14. I don't want it to be a nostalgia fest. Yeah, if you want to do a bit of fan service, that's fine, but don't do too much of it. I want to see something new from him. That's what I want to see. I just want to see new stories. I want to see what new villains he's created or new ideas he's come up with. That's what I want to see. But I'm not worried about if he introduces certain characters or certain politics into the show. I know he'll do it properly. But do the right sort of politics is what I'd say. And I'll just leave it at that, because I don't want to get bogged down in a whole what he should and shouldn't do. Yeah. I think he knows himself.
Make the Doctor a man.
And look, I think he knows.
Start.
Yeah, I think he knows himself. I think he understands this show. I think he, look, he writes shows differently to Doctor Who. He's even said that. So Doctor Who will be different to the way he's wrote It's a Sin and all of those other shows that he's done. Doctor Who will be Doctor Who under RTD. So, let's wait and see. I hope for all you fans out there, though, and I will say this, I hope for all you fans out there that are skeptical right now at the moment and can't build up the energy to get excited because he's afraid he will be let down. I hope he can win you over. I really, truly do, because he needs all the support he can get, because you can be guaranteed that if some of the other side hang on, right, they'll be doing what we'll be doing, but they won't be doing it for the right reasons. They'll be doing it just to get back at us to say it's shit, whereas we genuinely thought the Whittaker era was that bad, right? But even if they do like the RTD era, they'll probably come out, some of them, and bash it because they'll want to get a reaction out of us.
It'll be interesting then to see who the not my doctors are.
It'll
be the boots on the other foot.
When it flips. But the difference is I won't be going around calling them not my doctors, because at the end of the day, they're entitled to feel how they want to feel, whether I think it's bullshit or not. But at the end, I might be a little bit
compelled, to be honest.
I know you will. I'll look forward to that, because there'll be some Twitter spat and it'll be huge, man, because Lee won't be able to help himself. But but he's right in a way. But I just don't want to be doing it anymore, because I'm just fucking sick and tired of telling them that they're wrong. And no one is going to buy anything RTD says, because most people don't even know who he is. The only way he can reassure viewers is to openly recognize that Chibnall went wrong with everything he did. And again, you keep bringing this up, so I'm not going to say what I always say, but I told you that's not going to happen. So,
well, I don't think he doesn't need to overtly come out and say anything. I think he just needs to show us with what he can do. He can waver this all the way with a stroke of a pen. He can write something so good that everything that's gone before just is instantly forgotten. I mean, I think it's on Downstream the other night. They were talking about how easy it is, how quickly people forget the previous Doctor when the new Doctor's on the screen. It's quite remarkable how quickly we can forget them as soon as we're sold on the new Doctor. Which didn't happen for the first time, well, maybe the second time with Whittaker. But I think if he's smart, he can please everybody. It's going to be very difficult, but I think he can make a jab maybe at Chibnall in his creative writing. Not overtly, but like subtly.
I know what you're saying, but he's not going to do it.
I have no illusions. I don't think they're the best of friends. I think that's just PC TV talk.
RTD is just going to look at. This is what it's being framed as. RTD is coming back to do his own thing. He is not going to interfere with what Chris Chibnall did, even if he agrees with it or not, even if they're friends or not friends, right? At the end of the day, he's the writer and the showrunner of Doctor Who, right? Just like RTD was and Stephen Moffat was.
Well, he's had subtle digs at him in the past. And,
right. Yeah, of course he has. But it shows the measure of the man that RTD wouldn't stoop to that level. RTD is not going to retcon this, or he's not going to put a throwaway line in there.
I'm still hopeful that Chibnall's going to do the right thing, and
that's what I mean. It's down to Chris Chibnall, and look, as I said, some fans are not going to be able to get over that stumbling block if RTD was to just go and ignore it and do his own thing. That's fair enough, but there's nothing we can do about that. RTD is not going to be the one that's going to do it. As I said, Chibnall has 2 episodes to go. Let's see what he does with those 2 episodes. If he doesn't,
good night, everybody. I'm going to get in now.
Night, Mom. Man.
Good night.
Bye.
The interesting thing is, what I think is, because that we have to look at it this way, because Doctor Who had went on an 18-year hiatus. We got a one-off TV movie, and it got confined to magazines and books and the release of the videos and that. But we've got to think that RTD brought this show back, and he revived it, and he made it as popular. And if he can do that in
but that was after
2005,
16 years hiatus, not like, a year away from, or not even a year away.
Here's another one he's just wrote. He said, it's not about what he writes. No one is going to watch the anniversary special because of RTD. They need to know before that the woke fest is over. I disagree with you.
Well, I think they'll know new Doctors coming, so people will be interested in that.
Exactly.
They'll tune in to Rubberneck and see how
just like 12 million people tuned in to watch Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, even though a lot of people said they weren't going to watch, but 12 million people did, and nobody can argue that fact. That is a fact. 12 million people tuned in to watch Jodie Whittaker's first episode, and then it dropped off, but 12 million people did watch. So I have to disagree with you there. It's a 60th anniversary. The 60th anniversary itself is a pull in itself. So that will already bring in ratings. And then if any of the rumors are true about who he's supposed to be bringing back for the 60th anniversary, then I think you'll be surprised how fans will react, to be honest with you. And I think it will take a lot of fans back, because you don't realise.
People want to love this show.
Yeah, but I don't think they realise the pull that RTD actually has as well. Someone said to me the other day that I was giving RTD way too much credit. No, I'm giving him the credit he deserves, because the show was on hiatus before he brought it back, right?
Yeah.
Even he said in interviews in 2004 leading up to it, while he was doing this, that he was scared. He was, there was a lot of pressure on him.
This is going to be doubly more so.
Right? And he came out of that the other side without even being ricocheted. He hit the ground running. Right? So I don't think he's going to be phased. But look, I get that the timeless child stuff is a stumbling block. But you are barking up the wrong tree if you think RTD is going to do something about this. Piers Wenger has already come out, and RTD himself has already come out and basically told us that the show, he's going to do it his own way. Piers Wenger said they're going to introduce it to a new generation of fans. That suggests they're doing something different. They're going to go away from this. It didn't work. They know it didn't work. But maybe, I'm just throwing it out there, maybe RTD is back because he rebooted it in 2005, and maybe he's going to do the same again. Maybe he'll reboot it. Maybe that's the way he can get around it. He won't explicitly bring it up. I
think that's what this current...
He'll probably reboot it.
This current notion that, we're not going to see a regeneration, I think there could be some truth to that, because he wants to create a separation.
That's it. Leave her there. Leave her there. Regeneration. End it with the end scenes, and then that's it. Just leave it there, and then RTD then reboots it and does his own thing. Then that means that period of time between 2005 and 2022, that chapter is over. And now a new chapter, the New Who era, begins from 2023 onwards. And then it's a totally different animal to the animal that we've gotten since 2005. Now, if he does something like that, I don't know if that'll please fans, but maybe that's where he's going with it. Look, I'm just speculating here.
I can see a sort of Eccleston style thing, where it's just, he just appears and goes run, and then... straight in the middle of the action, that would make sense to me.
I do want to echo John's words, though. Now is not the time to give up on Doctor Who right now. Look, if RTD does things and announcements are made that you don't like, and then it turns out that you were all right, then we all know where we stand. right? It's as simple as that. But wait until the casting. And casting is the most important thing right now at the moment. I don't think the Timeless Children stuff necessarily is the most important thing right now. I do want Chris Chibnall to actually do the right thing, to save RTD. Because look, as I said last night, right, and I don't know if the panel agree with me here, but I personally don't want RTD to get bogged down into trying to fix the Timeless Children.
Well, I don't think he has to. I think
no, but I don't think. But this is the thing. This is why I don't believe the throwaway line or doing something like that to retcon it would work. Because I think Chris Chibnall and his supporters would kick up more. There would be a backlash to it, right? So he would have to find a way. But hold on, though. Like Moffat did with bringing Gallifrey back, he would have to find a way to do this story arc, right? And to do it in such a way that will respect, the other side. You retcon it, but do it in a respectful way without trying to annoy them and Chibnall and everybody else. Yeah, I know you say that, but writers,
Chibnall didn't give a fuck about the 50
I know he
years
didn't,
of canon,
but Chibnall is an RTD.
those writers.
Yeah, but Chibnall is an RTD. RTD is a class of a man. He wouldn't do that. That's what I'm saying to you guys. This is what you have to do.
There's two schools of thought. There's two schools of thought. Like, what's more important, Chibnall's fee-fees or the what's best for the show and its longevity? And I think you have to balance that out. And does he want to make money? Does he want to be successful? Does he want his legacy to last forever and ever and ever?
I do think he will.
But you don't want it bogged down. You don't want it bogged down in
bogged down in that. Then what you're basically doing is this. The era that you all want to forget about. You want RTD to fix it. Basically, use his era, his fourth season, or whatever, or the first couple of episodes of his era to sort out a mess from another showrunner, and yous will tune in and watch by the millions when he does that, even though yous have been complaining about Doctor Who Flux and the other 2 seasons, not bothered watching, but yous will watch these episodes? No.
Well, I still think that, if Chibnall doesn't tidy up this fucking mess, I still think the best way forward would be to, dismiss it in a very simple way, so you're not bogged down in spending.
I agree,
season
but
after season.
I personally don't think he'll do it. But look, that's a discussion to have for another day, and a nice little debate to have for another day. And look, we do obviously have different opinions on it. A lot of people do, and this is what he's done with it. And this is the one reason why I hate this man so much, a showrunner of Doctor Who, is because of what he's done to the fans. And how he's divided the fandom. This Timeless Children nonsense has been the worst thing to happen, right? This is even worse than a female doctor, by the way. Okay? Jodie Whittaker might be the worst doctor that we've ever had, but the Timeless Children nonsense has destroyed the show in so many second ways and tarred the legacy. That's, for me, is worse, right? I hope, for Chibnall's sake anyway, because I don't want, he'll always be considered the worst showrunner anyway, in fairness. So I don't think it makes a difference to it. But I just hope, for the sake of the fans, that he does the right thing. But kind of knowing what he's done in the last few seasons, seems to be a bit of a vindictive person. He probably will double down. But I honestly don't want RTD to get bogged down in this. We'll see. Look, I'd be surprised 100% if RTD was to do a throwaway line or do something that dismissed this. I think it would damage him. It would.
I don't think so.
I think
he would be lauded as a hero.
Yeah. So what? You've got to remember. You've got to remember that a lot of Doctor Who fans,
they are aware of how bad it is.
Yeah, but hold on, Lee. I think everybody's forgetting one thing, right? There's a lot of Doctor Who fans from different political backgrounds, different religious backgrounds.
This transcends.
They're not all.
Even a lot of Jodie Whittaker fans don't like the Timeless Child thing. Let's not forget.
Yeah, I do agree, but those fans will never join forces with us to make.
Well, you don't have to. You just have to speak your mind, which I know is something else these days to do that. But some people do. Some people have actually changed their tune over the years. Where you weren't allowed to criticize anything about Chibnall Whittaker, and to the point now that even the most ardent Whittaker fans are coming out finally saying, "Oh, the right Chibnall, right is
That's
so
how
good."
it got me bad reputation, because Series 11, everybody was praising it. I mean, everybody. There was me, and I think there was 2 other Doctor Who channels at the time, just at the time, that were complaining about it, saying how bad it actually was.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, as the season went on, more channels start popping up. Then people were coming on here then, and they were setting up YouTube channels. And then before you knew it, then
That's how I found you. Found you in Bolstrick and El Patron and Gary.
Yeah.
But you are right. The tone changed after Series 11, though, right? Because nobody could criticize Series 11, and anybody that did, you had the likes of Ben Cook and that other, wherever her name is, I forget her name now because it's been so long. Oh, that's her. Yeah, you had them coming out and attacking fans, but by Series 12, the tone had changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Where is she now? Working in local government? She was.
Because Series 12 started, Spyfall started off well, part 1, and a lot of us actually did give it the credit that
13 was a gap year, says
right? But then obviously the second episode dropped, and that's when it all fell apart. But that was the first time that even the other side I remember is when the Sacha Dhawan scene, where the Doctor takes away his filter, deception filter, right? And he happens to be in France, in French occupied Nazi Germany, and she takes away. And that was the first time that I actually heard that side mumbling a little bit about his writing. And then as the series progressed, then
even though South Asians were not targeted by the Artsies, actually, because they actually had agreements set in place with the Mufti in Palestine. So because Hitler actually thought of South Asians as where the origins of the Caucasian race started. So technically, he had more of an issue with the Jews from that area rather than the more brown-skinned people. So I just want to put that out there.
Here's another one. RTD has to dismiss the whole Chibnall era as not being canon before his first new episode even screens. Series 11 to 14 must be all a dream.
Well, 13.
Well, if it was that easy, I would say go for it, RTD, right? But unfortunately, that ain't going to happen. Listen, I don't know what you want from RTD. I mean, it's unfair to ask him to do this. Have you not looked at it that way? I'll put it to you that way. It's unfair to ask him to come back and fix something that a mess that someone else made. That's not his job to do that. His job is to put his his job is to put his vision forward. Yeah. That's the way it's being framed. So that's his job, to put his vision forward. It's not to fix something else that someone else did. I'm sorry, but look, I don't know. RTD is not going to do what you want. So I don't know what's going to make you happy. He's not going to come out and publicly dismiss this. Actually, he's done quite the opposite, actually. He's come out and publicly supported it along with Stephen Moffat. Because, as I said, there is such thing as supporting each other. And they do, as writers and creators, do support each other.
Well, on the surface, anyway.
Right?
Publicly.
So, publicly. Behind the scenes is obviously a different story. But they've done it publicly, and publicly is all that matters. It doesn't matter what they do behind the scenes because, unless it explicitly comes out by someone, it's only rumor and speculation, whereas they've come out publicly, so it's fact. That's how these things work. So look, I think it's unfair to ask him to do that. I don't think he will, but I don't know what will. Look, RTD is not going to do that, so I don't know what other compromise he can come to, because I just don't see him doing this. That's where I'm gonna. I'll leave it there because I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Repeating, but I know I can understand. I know why you put the comments in as well. You want me to react as well, and I do because I'm stupid. But at the end of the day, RTD is not going to retcon this.
Sometimes people are
you need to get that in your head, right?
As soon as you get that
set
in their ways.
And I agree.
I can't blame them.
No, I agree. But you need to get that in your head.
I think it would be easy enough to think that if it was Capaldi woke up in the TARDIS and it was all a dream.
Here's the thing as well, actually, that someone's at the bringing up as well, right? So, if RTD, for example, right, I'll just say he does everything that the commander has been saying all night, wants him to do, right? Well, then, how come he hasn't brought any of the production team with him from Roadblock, right? Because, and this is why I say this, is because they're the ones that created all of this nonsense, right? So they would know where the end game of this was supposed to be. So if he needed help with that, them working his own magic, why didn't he bring some of that? Because it's a clean break. That's why it's with Bad Wolves Productions. He ain't doing anything with this. So Chris Chibnall has 2 episodes. I really do hope he does, because then people like yourself then maybe will get on board then after you see who's cast. If it's a bloke, then you will probably get on board. But I hope Chris Chibnall fixes it for your sake, because RTD ain't doing it. So which means then, as you've said, you're not going to actually watch, which will be sad, because I think RTD deserves to be given a chance and should be punished for the sins of the previous showrunner. That's the way I'd put it. Why should we punish RTD for the sins of Chris Chibnall? We shouldn't. We shouldn't, in reality, in fairness. He should be given his own chance and given a time to show us what he can do again with Doctor Who. And that's all I'm going to say on that now. I'm going to leave it there, but I do understand it. Listen, I know I do. Anytime I see your comments, and I always directly answer them and all, and I do get very passionate about what I'm saying. But I need you to understand that RTD definitely won't do this. It's Chris Chibnall's job to do it, but I don't think RTD should be punished for Chris Chibnall's mistakes, and I don't think he should be bogged down in trying to explain this mess. And yes, while they're saying they could do a throwaway line or make it all a dream, or Peter Capaldi wakes up and it's a dream, in reality, right? In reality, they're not going to do that, because that's fucking dumb as shit. And we all know it's fucking dumb as shit, because they did it in Dallas and it was dumb as fucking shit. So let's be honest about it. It's a dumb fucking way of doing it. Let's be honest. But we're so desperate that we latch on to Anton, and I get it. But RTD won't do it. So let's hope Chris Chibnall pulls that dumb shit off with the fob watch, and then we can get done and over with, and then we can have a fresh start with RTD, with none of that timeless child bollocks in the background. And that's where I stand on it. Right, I'm going to leave it there now before I get myself into trouble and I say anymore, because I'm getting very passionate about this, because I am. Because I do believe that he has good intentions, and I do believe that he can bring this show back from the brink. I think he's the only one that can actually do it. So let's see what happens. Fingers crossed anyway. Right, we'll be back for some new Who. Come and join us tomorrow. I'm pretty sure by the end of that episode as well, we'll be talking more of this shit. So if you want to hear us have a little debate about the rest, because I'm pretty sure tomorrow, maybe before we go live, there might be an article or 2 that's fucking dropped, and that'll cause more bleeding fucking upset, or another bleeding rumor will probably drop that'll upset more fans. It's mad. Told you that was going to be exciting after Christmas, didn't I? Didn't I say it? Said January, wait and you see, and it's all coming together quite nicely. look, I just can't. I'm just beyond excited still. The day that RTD was announced, I was like a little kid at Christmas, and now that's getting closer, because it is getting closer. I'm actually getting really excited now. Look, I do have that in the back of my head. I'm not going in blind, right? I still do have it in the back of my head that, oh, this could go all, this you could fall flat on your face. But I don't care. I'm gonna enjoy this moment right now and the momentum and everything that's happening right now until something gives me cause to be worried. And right now, nothing's giving me cause to be worried right now. As I said, that could change because social media and stuff, the things can change in a heartbeat.
There's a lot of things to look forward to, Noel. I mean, even if RTD is successful, you could see the bringing back of the Doctor Who experience, Doctor Who exhibitions, more merchandise in the shops, things that's available that isn't available right now. I mean, we could be in for a good time.
I get what you're saying as well. You can only have a fresh start by throwing away all of the old. I do get it, but would you throw away Classic Who?
No.
Okay,
well,
listen, I'm going to say this, right? I do not like this era, right? I think it should be taken and made disappear, right? Really. But yeah. I know the reality is different, right? It's the same with the sequel trilogy with Star Wars. No matter how much kicking and screaming OG Star Wars fans do over that sequel trilogy will never be retconned and it'll always be there. It's on film. They'll never get rid of it. Fans can decide and choose to ignore it. It's the same with this current era of Doctor Who. Right? That's the situation we're in. Unless Chibs obviously fixes it then. But that era is going to exist. Jodie Whittaker is the 13th Doctor, whether we like it or not. She was cast. That's who the 13th Doctor is. That's who Chris Chibnall chose. We can choose to ignore that she's the 13th Doctor and choose to ignore her era. But it's there. It's on film. It's never gone away. It'll be in box sets, right? It's there, right? So that's why I don't think there will be like Ghostbusters 2016, the way that was retconned and lot, but that was already in its own universe anyway. So technically, Ghostbusters Afterlife didn't retcon a movie because it wasn't actually in that universe to begin with. Well, according to the director, until they brought out the Ghostbusters Afterlife box set with Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and then Afterlife, and then he start whinging like a little bitch. And says, where about my movie? What a way to disrespect my movie. Well, sorry, mate, you said it's in a different universe. So is it in a different universe or is it in this universe? Right? So you've been lying to fans by saying it's in a different universe. So it really was in this universe. So that 2016 Abomination, you're telling me, was part of the original trilogy? No, it wasn't. You said it was in the own universe. But that's what I'm trying to say. This is what this will be considered, I reckon. This series 13 will probably be put in its own universe because Chibnall has already done it anyway with this multiverse thing. We got it in Doctor Who Flux. So I think that's where he's actually going with it. I think it won't be retconned, but it'll be put in its own little bubble. And I think that's why it harps in with this information that we're getting about the regeneration scene. That obviously we spoke about months before, but apparently it's brand new news now, but we'll go with that anyway. We'll just let it fly. But anyway, apparently, we discussed it, we said it, she was going to start to regenerate, but then we wouldn't see the regeneration. Now it's being reported on. I'd say there's probably something in it, and that's the way to leave it in its own little universe. I don't know. Look at, well, as I said, we could have a debate and a whole stream on this separately, and we'd still get nowhere. We'd still be back to square one. We have to wait and see what RTD does. Isn't that right? I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, we just have to wait and see what Chris Chibnall does first, and then see what RTD, who he casts, and then go from there. Hopefully, Chibnall does the right thing, because this is a headache. I have to fucking say, it's bleeding pissing me off. This timeless children. It needs to be fucking put in a fucking airlock and fucking blown out into outer space. I swear, it's been the worst thing that's happened to this fucking fandom because, look, I get where he's coming from. I get that he can't get past that mental block of the timeless child. It needs to be fucking eradicated. I get it. I've just learned to just fucking ignore it and say to myself, well, this era is not canon as far as I'm concerned. It ended with Peter Capaldi. RTD is coming back, giving us something new. So this is a new era, a new Doctor Who, if you will, from the 2005 onward till this version ended, you know? So that's the way I've been able to put it in my head. So that's how I'm able to move on until he explicitly, Chibnall, if he does it, gets rid of it then I'm all systems go. Nobody then will stop me from getting excited for RTD until he fucks it up and casts a woman, which I don't think he will, but we'll see. All things are possible. But we'll leave it there. Interesting to see to hear the thoughts actually of some people in the chat. As I have said, and I've actually said it to people on Twitter, I do know that the timeless children, and I have acknowledged that it is a stumbling block for a lot of people. I just hope Chibnall, as I said, for the sake of you fans, he does fix it because RTD ain't. He's not going to touch it. Not with a bar. Not. Why would he? Why would he? I mean, this era nearly dragged down the whole of the show. Why would he want to even go anywhere near it? If I were him, I would steer well clear of this era. I would have nothing to do with it whatsoever personally, because Doctor Who needs a fresh start. And if it starts incorporating this era, no way. I just, even though I know RTD would write something deadly, I just can't. This era has just left such a bad stain on the fandom, on the show's legacy, its respectability, and it's left a bad taste in my mouth. Chibnall is just utterly dire as a sci-fi writer. Just go back writing your Broadchurches and your fucking Torchwoods. At least I enjoyed your Torchwood. Go back and write that or something, you clown. You should have never been given the job. Pierce Wenger as well. Bow your head in shame. Bow your head in shame. You got us
power
in this,
behind the throne there.
Yeah, you got us into this position. Now you better make sure he gets us out of this position. Anyway, let's leave it at that, Roy. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. We're back for that ridiculous fucking singing episode.
Oh,
The Rings of Akatan. Now, don't get me wrong. The Rings of Akatan is actually a good story until the singing starts. I don't like any of the singing in this, but the music is great by Murray Gold. Oh, I will say that, but the song is fucking awful. Yeah. But I do like the Doctor's speech when he's talking to the... You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So join us for that anyway. And don't forget myself, Lee. Now, I just seen a post from Melina on Facebook, so I have to double check and see if she is available Wednesday. But Melina has asked to join for season 2 of Cobra Kai. So hopefully now, but she did put up a post. She's feeling unwell. She thought she had COVID, but it turns out she has some sort of pneumonia. So, but she says that she's getting better. She's gonna have the symptoms for about 2 weeks or something like that. So I don't know if that means she'll be able to turn up now. But I will text her later on and see what the story is.
Get well, Melina.
So get well soon, And again, we still haven't heard from Alpha either. So again,
he should have been here by now.
Yeah. So again, if anybody out there, I'll keep saying it. Anybody out there knows who he is, his real name. If you could pass it on to anybody, myself, Lee, even Real Super Doctor here, who's on the panel. He has a Twitter account under the same name. let us know. Or Alpha, if you're out there and if there's any way you can get in contact, please let us know that you're safe and well. Everybody is worried about you. Okay, we'll leave it there, folks. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. I'm off to make some food now. I don't know what I'm actually going to make because, like while I'm hungry, I don't want that and big. That sort of way. Do you ever feel like that? Like you're hungry, but at the same time, if you have something big, you're just going to feel crap for the rest of the night. So I don't know what to have, but we'll figure it out. Have a good one. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.